This talk is everybody poops. I think a lot of us got this lesson in grade school, but we're going to go over it again because I think we might need a refresher. So I'm Erica. That is me. That is me in a bear coat. Do not be alarmed. No bears were harmed in the making of that coat. So please don't throw red paint on me later. Thank you. I am a human just like all of you. We're all humans, every last one of us, I hope. Even Beyonce is a human. The slide is here because all presentations must have a Beyonce slide. So I do weird stuff. Last night I made up a song with nonsense words and then choreographed that song and then performed it for myself in Muskevies and then laughed at myself afterwards. And that is a thing that I do regularly. Everyone does weird stuff, like Miss Laura Jane Watkins here, who tells lies to Uber drivers for fun. People who bite their cats, awesome. And people who tie their belts with, or their loops with twine. All of us do weird things all the time. I have feelings, like many humans. I get frustrated when I encounter a problem that I just can't get over. I feel sad when I can't help people I care about through sticky situations. I feel lonely when I go home to my apartment sometimes and I'm the only one there. I feel happy about my relationship with my family. I feel inspired by all of y'all. I feel skeptical when people call me brave, because I don't think I'm brave. And I could go on with my feelings, but I think y'all get it. Aside from the people with alexithymia, all of us have feelings. So, yeah. I poop. I have admitted it to this large crowd. I am one of the 99.98% of people in the world who poop. I assume that most of you are too. I do weird stuff, and I have feelings, and I poop because I'm a human. You do those things too, well, most of you, because you're human too. And even if you don't, you're still a human. I'm not going to read this whole list of what makes me a human. It's not complete, obviously, but I want to talk about the last 4 items in that list because that's kind of what we're here for today. First, I want to talk about being an auntie because these kids just started school yesterday and they are my life, and I just wanted to put a slide of them in there. So that's them. Enjoy them. That's a unicorn. It's not me. If you can tell. People in tech like to call Black women engineers unicorns because we are so rare. They sometimes call us super minorities, which I reject because nobody ever gave me a cape, and so I'm not a super anything. And I kind of reject the unicorn name also, and I'll tell you why. There's a thing called othering. If you haven't heard of it, I will tell you what it is by reading directly off the slide, as everybody tells you not to do when you go to presentation classes. To other someone is to view or treat a person or a group of people as intrinsically different from and alien to oneself. That doesn't sound super great, right? Back to unicorn. So unicorns are beautiful and majestic and graceful and classy and rare. But, you know, who wouldn't want to be called all those things? Well, turns out when you're that one unicorn in a whole pack of horses, and people, all the horses keep telling you, hey, you're a unicorn, you start to feel a little different, right? You start to feel like maybe they don't think of you as another horse, and you start to feel othered. So instead of that beautiful and unique and majestic and graceful and classy unicorn, you start to feel like you're different and alienated and isolated and alone. I want to give an example of how I was othered. Like, this is, I think, one of my very first experiences being othered on the internet. Like, this is back in 2006. The internet did exist then. There's a site called Dig. It's kind of like Reddit. probably the same amount of grossness. I wrote a thing on my blog about Google IG, which I think became iGoogle, and Firefox, and I was super excited about it because I was obsessed with sidebars for a while. I don't know why. 26-year-old me was a really special person. And so I wrote about it, and someone shared it, and it got to the front page of Dig, and it was amazing for me, and I was really happy about it. And then I read the comments. Never read the comments, ever. And in the comments, a black woman? And all my happiness, all my elation, everything just went out as soon as I saw that comment. Because suddenly I didn't feel like, one of the people on Dig. I didn't feel like just like another one of them. I felt othered immediately. Like I was immediately marked as different. And I felt that maybe, they couldn't take me seriously because of my skin and my genitalia. Weird. So you should probably note that I took this from archive.org, and I remember this experience so well that I was able to find it from 2006. So that kind of can give you an idea of the impression it left on me. It was very painful, and that was just the beginning of all the othering on the internet and in tech. So that was just one of the example. And it's because, the othering happens because as humans, we like to categorize for some reason. It's a big thing. We like to put everything in little boxes. And we do that with humans also without remembering that we are all humans. So the next time you see a black woman in tech, or a black man, or a Latina woman, or an indigenous man, or a white lady, or a black dude, instead of trying to categorize them in a box, just think of them as a human first. Remember that they can be anything, and remember that the black woman isn't so different from you. The black woman poops, the black woman feels, and the black woman might know some stuff about tech, maybe a little, because she's been here a while. And the black woman also looks like an engineer, like all y'all do. My name is Erica. I'm mostly human. I look like an engineer. I occasionally poop, and that is where you can find me on the internet. Thank you.